Tape 8, Side A. Acclaim. Shout of welcome. Applause. Acclaim for his brave deeds was heard throughout the country. Association. When he discovered the claim, he shouted and applauded. Acclaim. Shout of welcome. Applause. Accolade. Praise or approval. Award of merit. The world champion basketball team was showered with accolades and given a hero's welcome by the city's residents. Association. As an award, Mom gave us Kool-Aid to drink. Accolade. Praise or approval. Award of merit. Alacrity. Prompt and eager readiness. When Julie was in a good mood, she performed her chores with alacrity. Association. All the critters are eager and ready to go. Alacrity. Prompt and eager readiness. Altercation. An argument, fight, noisy dispute. When they disagree, their altercations can be heard at a distance. Association. See the argument, the fight, because the alteration of the wedding suit was very bad. Altercation. Argument, fight, noisy dispute. Aplomb. Dignity and confidence. He had too much aplomb to be easily embarrassed. Association. Eating a plum made him confident and dignified. Aplomb. Dignity and confidence. Let's review. Acclaim means shout of welcome, applause. Accolade means praise or approval, award of merit. Alacrity means prompt and eager readiness. Altercation means argument, fight, noisy dispute. Aplomb means dignity and confidence. Archetype. An original model from which others are copied. The archetype of this engine is in the Smithsonian Museum. Association. I wonder if Noah used a model to build the ark from. Archetype. An original model from which others are copied. Bathos. B-A-T-H-O-S. Descent from something important to something trivial in speech or writing. The play began as high romance, but ended on a note of silly sentimental bathos. Association. Baths used to be so important to me. Now they are only trivial. Bathos. Descent from something important to something trivial in speech or writing. Belligerent. Waging a war. Aggressive. They grew belligerent as the argument progressed. Association. The bells are on the ledge and will be pushed off when the war begins. Belligerent. Waging a war. Aggressive. Bravado. Show of boldness. The bravado of the young criminal disappeared when he was confronted by the victims of the brutal attack. Association. See the word brave in the word bravado. Bravado. Show of boldness. Bravura. a brilliant performance. The bravura demonstrated by the 8-year-old was astounding. Association. You were brave to give such a brilliant performance. Bravura. A brilliant performance. Let's review. Archetype means an original model from which others are copied. Bathos means descent from something important to something trivial in speech or writing. Belligerent means waging a war, aggressive. Bravado means show of boldness. Bravura means a brilliant performance. Carnage, the killing of many people. The carnage that can be caused by atomic warfare adds to the responsibility of our statesmen. Association. Sadly, the car killed many people. Carnage, the killing of many people. Catharsis, the act of ridding or cleansing. The confrontation with his boss had been long overdue, effecting a welcome catharsis. Association. Cats are always cleaning themselves. Catharsis, the act of ridding or cleansing. Comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y. Courtesy, especially between nations. A spirit of comity should exist among nations. Association. It's a comedy to watch the courtesy between nations of differing views. Comity. Courtesy, especially between nations. Compunction, the pricking of conscience, slight regret or scruple. The criminal had shown no compunction for his heinous crime. Association. I want to puncture his consciousness and see if he'd feel any guilt. Compunction, the pricking of conscience, slight regret or scruple. Decrepitude, weak from old age or hard use. Some mornings when I awaken, I feel as though decrepitude is upon me. Association. He crept along for such a long distance he felt weak, almost from old age. Decrepitude, weak from old age or hard use. Let's review. Carnage means the killing of many people. Catharsis means the act of ridding or cleansing. Comity means courtesy, especially between nations. Compunction means the pricking of conscience, slight regret or scruple. Decrepitude means weak from old age or hard use. Deigns, D-E-I-G-N-S. Condescends, is gracious enough to do something. He felt that he would debase himself if he deigned to answer his critics. Association. Great Danes have an air of condescending graciousness. Deigns. Condescends, is gracious enough to do something. Disdain means scorn, contempt. You make enemies of all you disdain. Association. He made a terrible stain with the corn and was ridiculed for it. Disdain, scorn, contempt. dispatch. Send off to a destination or for a purpose. In this emergency, we must act with greater dispatch. Association. I will send you to the garden patch for vegetables. Dispatch. Send off to a destination or for a purpose. Effrontery means shameless boldness. He had the effrontery to insult the important guest. Association. Your boldness is shameless in front of her and he. Effrontery. Shameless boldness. Encomium. High praise given in speech or writing. Never have I listened to such an eloquent encomium, or to one that was more deserved. Association. In combing the area for the lost child, you deserve high praise. Encomium. High praise given in speech or writing. Let's review. Deigns means condescends, is gracious enough to do something. Disdain means scorn, contempt. Dispatch means send off to a destination or for a purpose. Effrontery means shameless boldness. Encomium means high praise given in speech or writing. Faux pas, F-A-U-X-P-A-S, an embarrassing blunder. Your tactless remarks during dinner were a faux pas. Association. For pas, embarrassing blunders are commonplace. Faux pas, an embarrassing blunder. Ferret, to drive or hunt out of hiding. He ferreted out their secret. Association. If he's in the fair, it will be no problem driving him out of hiding. Ferret, to drive or hunt out of hiding. Harangue, a lengthy speech, usually bombastic. In his lengthy harangue, the principal berated the offenders. Association. Harangue around for the end of this lengthy, pompous speech. Harangue. A lengthy speech, usually bombastic. Harbinger. A forerunner who announces the approach of another. The robin redbreast is an early harbinger of spring. Association. Here, bring the message from Western Union. I want to read it. Harbinger. A forerunner who announces the approach of another. Homily. A sermon. Moralizing lecture. His speeches were always homilies, advising his listeners to repent and reform. Association. Dad always gives lots of sermons at home. Homily. Sermon. Moralizing lecture. Let's review. Faux pas means an embarrassing blunder. Ferret means to drive or hunt out of hiding. Harangue means a lengthy speech, usually bombastic. Harbinger means a forerunner who announces the approach of another. Homily means sermon, moralizing lecture. Hubris, insolent pride or presumption. Certain tennis professionals overindulge many crowds with their hubris. Association. Hugh's arrogant pride is offensive. Hubris. Insolent pride or presumption. Innuendo. Unpleasant insinuation. I resent the innuendos in your statement more than the statement itself. Association. In the end, Joe, I resent your unpleasant hint about me. Innuendo. Unpleasant insinuation. Interloper. One who intrudes or interferes in the affairs of another. She wishes that her friends would not interlope into her private affairs. Association. See mom intruding while her daughter is in to elope with her boyfriend. Interlope. One who intrudes or interferes in the affairs of another. Leviathan. Something of enormous size and power. A sea monster in the Bible. His eyes rested on the huge pile of manuscript, and it seemed impossible that a publisher could be found who would publish this Leviathan. Association. Those are the most unique I've ever seen. I want those Levi's than any others. They're huge. Leviathan. Something of enormous size and power. Levity. Humorous attitude towards matters deserving respect. Such levity is improper on this serious occasion. Association. I love laughing about serious matters. Levity. Humorous attitude towards matters deserving respect. Let's review. Hubris. Insolent pride or presumption. Innuendo means unpleasant insinuation. Interloper means one who intrudes or interferes in the affairs of another. Leviathan. Something of enormous size and power. A sea monster in the Bible. Levity. Humorous attitude towards matters deserving respect. Malaise. Feeling of illness or mental uneasiness. A feeling of malaise preceded the attack of pneumonia. Association. I'm lazy when I feel illness coming on or uneasiness coming on. Malaise. Feeling of illness or mental uneasiness. Malignity. A show of hate. His hatred for the man had grown until it was destructive in its force and could only be called malignity. Association. I hate it when you malign me. Malignity. A show of hate. Munificence. Splendid generosity. He was a generous man noted throughout the countryside for his munificence. Association. You are so generous with your money. Munificence. Splendid generosity. Nadir. N-A-D-I-R. Lowest point. Deepest depression. Although few people realized it, the Dow Jones averages had reached their nadir. Association. Ralph Nader is camping at the lowest point in Death Valley. Nadir. Lowest point. Deepest depression. Paragon. Model of excellence. The class disliked him because the teacher was always pointing to him as a paragon of virtue. Association. The Pentagon's model of excellence is not what it used to be. Paragon. Model of excellence. Let's review. Malaise. Feeling of illness or mental uneasiness. Malignity. A show of hate. Munificence. Splendid generosity. Nadir. Lowest point. Deepest depression. Paragon means model of excellence. Pariah and outcast. I am not a pariah to be shunned and ostracized. Association. The wind is like an outcast, homeless, and they call the wind pariah. Pariah and outcast. Pillories. Wooden frameworks with holes for head and hands used for punishment. Even though he was mocked and pilloried, he maintained that he was right in his beliefs. Association. Even a pillow wouldn't help his being shackled like that. Pillories. Wooden frameworks with holes for head and hands used for punishment. Pittance. Very small amount. He could not live on the pittance he received as a pension and had to look for an additional source of revenue. Association. An apricot pit is very small. Pittance. Very small amount. Pomposity. Filled with self-importance and ostentatious dignity. Her air of pomposity was tactless and offensive. Association. To show his importance, he carried pom-poms everywhere he went. Pomposity. Filled with self-importance and ostentatious dignity. Prodigy. Person with exceptional qualities or abilities. The piano prodigy debuted at the age of 5. Association. You have to prod a smart kid along to keep them from getting bored. Prodigy. Person with exceptional qualities or abilities. Let's review. Pariah means an outcast. Pillories means wooden frameworks with holes for head and hands used for punishment. Pittance means very small amount. Pomposity means filled with self-importance and ostentatious dignity. Prodigy means person with exceptional qualities or abilities. Rapine, R-A-P-I-N-E. Plundering, robbery. The invaders embarked on an orgy of pillage and rapine. Association. They rapped on the door before barging in and plundering. Rapine. Plundering, robbery. Recalcitrant. Disobedient, resisting authority or discipline. Mules are reputed to be the most recalcitrant of animals. Association. How can we recall this train? It's running out of control. Recalcitrant. Disobedient. resisting authority or discipline. Sadist, person who enjoys inflicting or watching cruelty. His order were the bossy, insistent, disciplinary ones, so characteristic of a sadist. Association. It's the sadist thing of all to see someone who enjoys others suffering. Sadist. Person who enjoys inflicting or watching cruelty. Scourge. A whip for flogging people. A person or thing regarded as a great affliction. They feared the plague and regarded it as a deadly scourge. Association. Mr. Scrooge, was considered a great affliction to his employees. Scourge. A whip for flogging people, person or thing regarded as a great affliction. Sybarite, Sybarite, a person excessively fond of comfort and luxury. At midday, the vacationing Sybarites devoured countless platters of grilled fish and steak. Association. I drive a Subaru to complement my need for comforts and luxury. Sybarite. A person excessively fond of comfort and luxury. Let's review. Rapine means plundering, robbery. Recalcitrant means disobedient, resisting authority or discipline. Sadist means person who enjoys inflicting or watching cruelty. Scourge means a whip for flogging people, a person or thing regarded as a great affliction. Sybarite means a person excessively fond of comfort and luxury. Sycophant, a flatterer trying to win favors. The leader was not fooled by the fawning sycophant. Association. See a sick elephant winning flat party favors. Sycophant. Flatterer trying to win favors. Travesty. An absurd or inferior imitation. The decision the jury has reached is a travesty of justice. Association. I'll try this vest on, but I can tell it is a cheap imitation. Travesty. An absurd or inferior imitation. Trepidation. Nervous agitation. We must face the enemy without trepidation if we are to win this battle. Association. He was trapped and was very nervous. Trepidation. Nervous agitation. Vendetta. A feud. Romeo and Juliet were victims of their family's vendetta. Association. We are feuding over the debt you owe us. Vendetta. A feud. Vindication. Clearing of blame or suspicion. His long trial ended in his vindication. Association. You are clear of blame. You may leave on your fine vacation. Vindication. Clearing of blame or suspicion. Let's review. Sycophant means flatterer trying to win favors. Travesty means an absurd or inferior imitation. Trepidation means nervous agitation. Vendetta means a feud. Vindication means clearing of blame or suspicion. Your vocabulary is truly becoming richer as you use these power words daily. This concludes Tape 8, Side A. Please fast forward this tape to the end and continue with Side B.